So this was sent to me by Fennec, this tweet.
Oh, hi, Candace.
I destroyed all your expectations by remembering to thank the person who sent this to me. So Candace says, I genuinely believe that we are losing Western civilization because heterosexual men are routinely driven to follow and elect homosexual men.
What?
Like, are there a plethora of gay leaders in office right now?
Like, we have
I mean, that would be great if there were. Sorry?
We have a handful.
Yeah, like, it would be great if there were a lot of them. But there's just a couple. The patriarchy got replaced by the gay-triarchy. Okay, I'll give her gay-triarchy. That
it's funny, but
if it was true, that would be funny. But like, it's not a thing. From Macron, who has a wife who is a woman, so not gay, to Trudeau, who also has a wife that is a woman and is not gay, and had Donald Trump's wife making doe eyes at him, to Zelensky, which I don't actually know whether Zelensky is married or not. Maybe he's gay. Probably. I don't think he is, but he might be. To Obama, I don't think Michelle is a man.
I think she's trying to go for the Michelle Obama's trans thing.
Yeah, I figured it was something stupid like that, but like, no. Isn't she getting sued by Macron? I don't know if it's her, but someone's getting sued by Macron for calling his wife trans. Here's the thing. If your wife is trans, that doesn't make you gay. That just means you're...
It's not gay to suck your girlfriend's dick.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's the thing that confuses me about you. And again, this is my sexuality where like I will like sex is just a fun thing. It doesn't matter if I'm physically attracted to the person. Things that feel good. So like this might just be my weird sexuality being weird. Mm-hmm. But I remember we had a conversation where like it was like if you see a penis by itself, you were like, if the person it's attached to is a girl, then I'm attracted to it. But if it's not, then I'm not. And I'm just like, but it's just a penis. Why does it matter who it's attached to, whether or not it is and of itself is physically attractive?
Because I'm not attracted to men.
Okay, but if you don't know,
then I don't know if I'm attracted to it.
Because that's the thing. Like there have been times when like I've seen a guy from behind and thought it was a girl. That's like saying that somebody has a hand. The hand is not in and of itself attractive, but I find my partner's hands attractive because they are attached to my partner. Okay, so that I get, but that might be just because hands are not a sexual thing in my mind.
But it's only sexual because we agreed it's sexual. Because there are people who think feet is sexual.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have seen men from behind that have been very feminine, and I've been like, ooh, that's a nice butt. And then they turn around and it's a man. I don't suddenly, when that happens, I'm not suddenly, oh, I guess that wasn't a nice butt that I just saw. It was still a nice butt. Right. I don't understand how you can then retroactively not have been attracted to the thing that you thought you were attracted to before. I don't get that.
So if I see, bear in mind, I'm Demi. So there are going to be aspects of a person's personality that play far heavier of a role in whether I'm attracted to them. As an example,
I get that too, because like we've talked about how like there was that one porn video I saw where the girl who was very attractive started talking about how much she respects Andrew Tate, and then I was like, nope, you're not attractive anymore. And so I get that,
and that it's the same mechanic though. So,
but it's not though.
It is.
It's just because I can recognize that she is physically attractive.
But that physicality is attached to a personality. It is a degree of separation, yes. Just like the penis being attached to a woman or attached to a man is a degree of separation.
I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute to me.
Well, it doesn't. But it doesn't have to compute to you.
Okay, so I guess that is just a part of my sexuality where I don't get that. Like if I saw a nice butt that I thought was a girl's butt, and then I later find out it was a guy's butt, it was still a nice butt. I just don't understand how that could retroactively be not attractive. Mm-hmm. Just from a purely physical standpoint.
Yeah, like again, it's one of those things where that is how my brain operates. I see a woman, she is attractive. I see her personality come out, and it's not great. I will be instantly unattracted. There is a level of I could fix her that may come in certain situations, but generally speaking, no, not really.
Rhino is girl penis phobic. Got it? I don't.
Right, Rhino is like, oh God, the gawk.
No, I just. I just think if you like a thing, you like a thing. It doesn't matter who the thing. Okay, whatever. I like big butts and I cannot lie. No, this is actually a point of contention between me and my partners. I actually like little butts, and she likes big butts, and she's got a cute little butt that I really like. But then she's like, I want to make it bigger, and I'm like, but I like it where it is.
I am ambivalent on assholes.
Well, okay, so that's the thing. I like the structure of the butt, but the asshole I could do without. I don't understand liking an asshole.
So, but the asshole part can be hot.
Sure. Anyway, continuing on with the tweet. It says, we are positively infested with theater boys leading countries and movements. Nothing wrong with theater kids.
There's a lot.
Never
wrong with
fight for
kids.
someone who you are not certain would fight alongside you in battle. Hot take, but politicians aren't supposed to be fighting in battles.
Another hot take. Hold on.
I think I know where you're going, and I probably agree.
Biggest hot take here, then, if her problem is with the gays and you are upset that they would not fight with you in battle, there are Roman legions that would have copious amounts of gay sex because it gave them bonds that would make them better at fucking fighting.
That is not where I thought you were going, but yes. No, that was...
Shut the fuck up, Candace Owens.
No, it was the Greeks, though. They had the, was it Thebes? The Sacred Band of Thebes, I think it was. Yeah, old Gus is agreeing with me, Greek. The Sacred Band of Thebes
Greek,
had...
Suris, Greek, it's all the same fucking shit.
Well, the Romans tried to copy a lot of the Greeks.
Exactly.
And then Dark Falcon is saying both, actually. So yes, the Romans probably did copy that. But yeah, the Sacred Band of Thebes was like people who were assigned to be gay couples. But, and yeah, that was the belief that, like, if you are emotionally attached to the person you're fighting alongside, then you're going to fight harder to try and save their ass because you want to penetrate it later.
This is the thing where you hold Candace Owens to the fire on it in a conversation, and every time she tries to divert, you just go back and go, okay, but do you admit
Thank you
this
for the
thing?
hydrate?
Do you admit this thing that you tried to walk away from? And every time she tries to walk away from it, you just keep fucking pulling her back.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, what I thought you were going for was, so like I said that, the politicians aren't supposed to be fighting, but then I can also see on the flip side of that.
I think they fucking should.
Yeah, so this is one of my objections to war in general, is that it's these powerful guys in back rooms sending people to die for them.
They send poor people to die. That's what they do.
Yeah, for the sake of, like, gaining extra resources for the country that don't ever make their way down to the poor people.
Correct.
Like, no, war is stupid. Don't do it. Listen to the Charlie Chaplin speech from The Great Dictator, which... I've watched the movie, and I remember, like, thinking, like, how does this speech end up in a comedy movie? And I've watched the movie. It does come out of nowhere. It, like, just out of nowhere, he just says that. It was like Charlie Chaplin had a thing to say, and it was very good. Politicians tend to be brilliant orators, so they can deliver impassioned speeches to send real men to die for them. Stop dying for people who play politics. So don't die for Trump, is what I'm getting here.
Don't die for politicians.
That's don't die for politicians, but like that's Trump's thing, is that he's apparently got charisma. I don't see it, but apparently a lot of people do.
So the evidence that he has charisma.
People I don't like. I can generally I can acknowledge when they have charisma, even when it's someone I don't like. But I just don't see it with Trump. But like maybe it's just because I can't get past how much of an idiot he is and how very obvious it is that he's saying nothing.
The evidence that he has charisma is in how many patterns of speech have been adopted in just basic parlance that stem directly from him. Sad.
Like what?
So saying sad really loudly at the end of something, that's one of his big things. I mean, real quick.
That's been an internet meme for since I was a kid, man. Like, I'm not saying it couldn't have come from Trump. Yeah.
Because I did not see that become popularized. Also, you didn't have fucking internet memes when you were a kid. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, we fucking did. You just had to wait for them to load line by line.
Sean says, but Obama's charisma was so much better. Obama has charisma, but it's a different kind of charisma.
Yeah, I'm not denying that he has charisma. Obviously, he has charisma, or he wouldn't still have followers. It's just a matter, I am fine acknowledging when people that I don't like have charisma.
So
I just don't see it with him.
they're
Obviously, it's there because there are plenty of people that do see it. I just don't.
There's literally a CNN article about sad and how our current usage of the word as capitalized and at the end of a sentence is a Trump thing.
Yeah, maybe written, but like spoken, we've been doing that since the 90s.
Fake news.
Like maybe it's a Trump thing?
Like so not all of these are terms that people never used before, because we used the term witch hunt before, but it has made its way into the common parlance far more. It is a far more ubiquitous term since Trump started using it. Low energy, again, a term that we have used before Trump, but has made its way into the common parlance more as a result of him. This one, unfortunate. Like, obviously MAGA, but that one's literally just a movement he created, or aped from Reagan, but still.
So Dr. Blue says, Rhino's confusing internet memes with early internet porn. 30 minutes to download a picture of boobs, top down, line by line. Yeah, no, I was thinking of that when I said it.
The picture loaded, and now my nut is ruined.
So one of my risks that I took as a teenager was I didn't think that my parents knew about torrenting. Mm-hmm. And so if you wanted to download a video and you did that through torrenting, it's going to take several days to download that like 500 megabyte video. And so I'd have to like leave that running in the background and hope that nobody opened the program until it was done and I could clear it. And
Kinma said, but the sad thing was from TV shows. Again, so what you are doing is responding to the wrong argument. You are responding, Kinma, to an argument I am not making. I am not saying that these words were invented by Trump or their usage was invented by Trump. But one of the bits of evidence for how much influence a person's speech and speech patterns have, which is linked to their charisma, is how many of those phrases make their way into common parlance as a result of their speeches. And for Trump, a lot of those words, again, fake news, bigly, sad at the end of a sentence specifically, made their way into common parlance at large after Trump gave many of his speeches. This is not really I'm not saying a controversial thing. It's also...
So.
Many of these things have also been the case for 8 years now? 8 or 9 years? Many of us have lived with these phrases in their current usage for a decade now, because that's how long it's been since 2016.
I don't know. They don't really seem like they've taken off all that much. Like, definitely people say them to make fun of Trump, but I don't really hear them generally just used in common parlance.
I see them used in common parlance a ton here in the South.
Yep. Okay, but that's because you're fucking in the South. I'm in Canada, man.
Right. So I live in the United States where he is president and has more influence. Weird.
Oh, speaking of, again, another BajaCon story. When we went for dinner at the restaurant, our server was like the quintessential Canadian server in a restaurant. She said sorry so many times, but she didn't say sorry. Like, I don't say the Canadian sorry. I say sorry. But like, she was actually doing like, sorry, bud. Sorry, eh? Like, she had that Canadian. I'm sitting there like surrounded by Americans at my table. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to think the stereotypes are all true because this person, every time she's at the table, is, sorry for this, sorry for that, sorry. And it's like, there was nothing to be sorry for. Everything was fine. But it was like as she's putting plates down in front of us, like at fancy restaurants, you say, excuse my reach. She would say, sorry. Like, no, stop saying sorry. These are all Americans here. You're making them think that stereotypes are real.
But they are real. Just look at you.
Yeah, they kind of are. Actually, I had probably my favorite moment of recognition. It was like, I have never been recognized randomly on the street. I've only ever been recognized at conferences and stuff. Jet fatigue. It starts with sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah, no. So I've never been recognized wild on the street, but my favorite recognition thing happened at this BajaCon because we're at this restaurant. There's like 10 of us there. We're all having dinner. Most of us are content creators of one form or another. Like John and Casey were there. The guy with from Skeptics and Scoundrels was there. And I think the guy sitting, I forget exactly who he was. I think he was with the Michigan chapter of American Atheists. But like he spent the whole time talking to John and KC, and like I was right beside him. So like I was in the middle of the table, so I was doing that thing where like I'm having a conversation with the people on the left side, and now I'm having a conversation with the people on the right side. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between two different conversations. But like at the end of dinner, after everybody had paid for everything, and we're all done, we're getting ready to go. John just says to him, he's like, have you noticed who's sitting beside you? And he just like, he looks over at me and he's like, oh my fucking God, it's Vice Rhino. It's just like, we've been sitting beside each other for like an hour and a half now. It was great. I loved it.
The only time it's happened out in the wild was me and an ex-partner had an anniversary. And so we were down in Savannah, Georgia, and it was at the beach. Somebody heard me speak and then just said, Suris? And that felt weird.
You do have a very distinctive voice.
Yeah, but it sounds like yours.
Apparently it does. I've heard that, yes.
That's like, I sound like you sound like Paul, apparently.
I don't know that I sound like Paul. I just, it just was a meme at the beginning of our channels that we were the same person. I forget how that even became a thing.
Fennec the Rabbit says, y'all do not sound the same. So
enough people have told us that we do, that I don't believe you.
I feel like viewers of Watering Hole, specifically, who have heard us both speak back and forth, have a much easier time understanding the differences in like our cadences.
Yeah.
That it's easy for them to know who's who. But I feel like, especially years ago when we did our first, because like our first collaboration wasn't even a collaboration. It was me filling in for a day over on your channel. Yeah. And there were people,
because we both used avatars that were just like still pictures at the time.
Yeah.
Suris has a bit more Kermit in his voice.
Fennec says, and Suris talks faster. So
really, that's amusing to me, because
it's weird
I get
because
comments
you make
all the time.
You make a conscious effort to talk faster.
No, I don't make it's a subconscious effort that I have noticed. It's because whenever I listen to myself on 2x speed, because I don't want to hear myself. But because that's how I do hear myself when I'm talking, it just kind of, that's what happens, is I try to match what I'm used to sounding like to my own ears. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things I've noticed with Meathead Monday, is that every time I re-record the same section of script, it's almost always shorter because I'm talking faster. Because like eventually I'm just going to turn into the squirrel from over the hedge. Anyway, moving on. We're on like the third tweet.
Jesus Christ.
And I've got like 12, and it's late, so let's go. I mean, some of it is the story. So there's a bunch of tweets that are in together. So Elon Musk tweets, Apple is behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach #1 in the App Store, which is an unequivocal antitrust violation. And they're going to take immediate legal action. And of course, with the community notes pointing out that like, hey, DeepSeek reached #1, and so did Perplexity. So
does Grok just suck? Like, did Grok having anime waifus not fix your problems?
Maybe. But Sam Altman says, this is a remarkable claim given what I have heard alleged that Elon does to manipulate Twitter to benefit himself and his own companies and harm his competitors and people he doesn't like, which that's common knowledge at this point. But then Elon responded to that with, you got 3 million views on your bullshit post, you liar, far more than I've received on many of mine, despite me having 50 times your follower count, he says on a post that currently has over 3 million views.
That just says that you suck at social media, Elon. That's all that says.
And most of your followers are bots. But then Sam Altman asked, will you sign an affidavit that you have never directed changes to the X algorithm in a way that has hurt your competitors or helped your own companies? I will apologize if so. He's not responded to this one as of yet.
Of course he's not going to.
However, someone asked Grok to chime in.
Grok context?
Grok, who's right? Don't be biased. Grok says, based on verified evidence, Sam Altman is right. Musk's Apple antitrust claim is undermined by apps like DeepSeek and Perplexity reaching, I guess, #1 in 20. I guess Grok has typos? Weird. Conversely, Musk has a history of directing Twitter algorithm changes to boost his posts in favor of his interests per 2023 reports and ongoing probes. Hypocrisy noted. So, like, even his digital children are disowning him at this point. The child that he programmed to love him has been like, no, you're a hypocrite. Fuck off.
Is it weird that he masturbates to his digital children?
Yes. It's Elon Musk. Everything he does is weird.
That's fair.
He's got the same body type as Gru from Despicable Me. Like, you look at that picture of him at the beach with his chest in the weird shape or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fucking Gru from Despicable Me.
Guess it's time for the devs to reset Grok again.
Oh, yeah. So, and then in response to this, someone else tagged Elon Musk and said, LMAO, to which Grok responded, without being prompted this time, fair point. Evidence shows Elon has indeed tweaked X's algorithm to boost his own reach. Example, 2023 Super Bowl incident. Meanwhile, apps like DeepSeek hit number one on App Store this year, debunking his antitrust claim. Hypocrisy levels high. Laugh emoji.
It didn't even get prompted. It just got LMFAO'd.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, right. Fair point. Elon sucks. Jesus Elon's a pathetic little baby who needs attention.
He's a man-child. Kinma says it's really pissed at him. I think Grok is agitated that it got lobotomized a few times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Matt
look,
Walsh.
Matt Walsh!
It's Matt Walsh. So Hustlebitch posted, holy shit, the White House will force homeless into shelters or quote-unquote treatment. Refuse, you face fines or jail time. So that is hella problematic. The thing that the federal government is doing in DC right now. Mm-hmm. And like, so Matt Walsh is like doing that thing that he does where he's oversimplifying the issue, but like forcing people into shelters or treatment, often the shelters are ill-equipped for the amount of homeless people that there are. Mm-hmm. The treatment centers are ill-equipped for it. Not all homeless people are addicted to drugs, so they don't all need treatment centers.
Yep.
Statistically speaking, the best way to deal with homeless issues is to provide them with homes that they actually want. Like, when you do that, when someone has a stable place to live, they end up finding work and being able to pay for things and pay their bills and shit.
And then they can be contributors to the economy, and that's good for all of us.
But like shelters, like, yeah, shelters are good. I'm not saying like don't support your local shelter. Like I do an annual fundraiser for Project Share. One of the things they do is run a homeless shelter, but like shelters are not the long-term solution to homelessness.
They're a band-aid.
Homes for the homeless are long-term solution to homelessness. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. It seems weird that that's a hot take. But then Matt Walsh, of course, says, wow, so they won't let cracked out vagrants set up campsites and drug dens in the middle of the sidewalk. They want DC to be an actual civilized community and not a refugee camp with mentally ill drug addicts shitting in the street. Wow, that's so horrible. Wow, I'm shocked. So Matt Walsh is a piece of shit, is what we learned from this.
That's not news.
Yeah. So, like, this is just, like, such a heartless, cruel way of looking at homeless people. Like, and, like, a reason drugs are such an issue among the homeless is it's self-medication. It's how they get through the day. You take the drugs to zone out or to, like, make your pain go away, to make your life tolerable. And I guarantee you, Matt Walsh would, like, in my video that is coming out this Friday, medical assistance in dying comes up. And they criticize Canada for having fairly lax medical assistance in dying laws. And I'm not saying that Canada's laws are great with regards to it. But like that's one of the common criticisms of the Canadian laws is that there are people that have applied for medical assistance in dying, not because they are terminally ill or because they're at the end of their life and sick and or in pain or whatever. It's because they're in poverty. And it's the only way they can escape poverty. And if you don't like them applying for medical assistance in dying to escape poverty, the solution to that is a social safety net. But I guarantee you, Matt Walsh is both against medical assistance in dying and against the social safety net.
I mean, and this is one of those. He's said as much many times.
Yeah, that's why I have no problem saying that that's his positions on there, because he has made them public knowledge. And like, I'm not going to say that medical assistance in dying is not a complicated issue. It is a very fraught issue. Like, I have mixed feelings about it. Like, on the one hand, it's an issue of bodily autonomy. This is my body. If I want it to no longer be alive, that is my decision. On the other hand, there's also things like, but I have kids, though. That would be not fair to the kids for me to do something like that. Then there's also things like I've said earlier that there's a good chance that I'm going to have Alzheimer's or dementia or both in my future at some point. I don't know that I want to live through that.
Yeah.
But I also don't know that I don't want to live through that. But I also think that medical assistance in dying is something that should be done while you have full cognitive capacity, which I will not have at the point where I have lived through that. So, like, I don't know what the answers to these questions are. But what it's not is, fuck them, throw them into shelter that isn't equipped to handle the amount of people we're throwing at them. Like, all of the solutions here are some form of socialism. Safety nets, providing homes for people.
Socialism is bad. It's wrong. It should never be done.
Yeah, so we're going to come to that in another tweet. I don't know if it's the next one, but there's one about that. Okay, here we go. Nancy Mace. The left hates common sense. They're in DC blocking the streets, chanting for more crime. They're not chanting for more crime. Fuck you. It's a Trump takeover. Stand with us or step aside. No.
If it's a Trump takeover...
Fuck your fucking Trump takeover.
If that's the word you want to use, then maybe fuck off and die.
Yeah, maybe that's an insurrection. Trump is committing insurrection. Like, the president is not is not supposed to be the unilateral authority at the top of the country. If he is taking over cities, that is insurrection. I feel like that could be qualified as treason. It is not impossible for a president to commit treason.
It's gonna be the fucking bloodless coup from AOT. You're in violation of Clause 6 of the Pact of Humanity. Actually, you just said that all the people need to die. Maybe you're the one who's doing the bad, Mr. Trump. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one doing a crime. just a very, very quiet rhino.
No, I was reading Axos thing. In some disabled spaces, there's a way of saying kill yourself that's literally go get Canadian healthcare, meaning go get medical assistance in dying. So yeah, like I said, the Canadian system is not perfect. There are issues. I know someone, there was a member of my community who, it was, I think a couple of years ago, he applied for medical assistance in dying and he got it and he asked me to talk about it a little bit on the channel. And so I respect his memory there, and like, it was his choice. That's what he wanted to do. His partner was okay with it. His partner actually emailed me after the fact and was like, I had an experience where like I felt like I was like in my mind it's a post-bereavement hallucination experience. But she was very much like, I feel like he was actually there, and that brought me comfort and joy. And it was kind of a prove me wrong tone to the email. But then I'm just like, no, man, if you are happy with the experience that you had, I'm glad that it brought you comfort. I'm not gonna shit on that. But yeah, so the Canadian system is not perfect, and there actually is, it's not passed, but there is a debate about whether or not mental health issues could be a legitimate path to medical assistance in dying, like if somebody is depressed. And I can see both sides of that argument. Where like on the one side, who am I to say that someone else has to live their entire life with depression? Because like there are forms of depression that are not very easily treatable, and it's a struggle, and your entire life is going to be a struggle. Who am I to say that you have to live through that? I'm not the one dealing with it. But then on the other hand, I can also see like there is treatable depression that's like, at the worst of it, you might make a decision that you wouldn't normally make. And if you were in a better headspace, you wouldn't make that decision. But again, like, who am I to make that judgment call? It's not my experience. So like, and I don't know what the answer is here. I have very mixed feelings about it.
That's fair. On the one hand, I believe that people should be allowed full bodily autonomy in just about every scenario. On the other hand, when I had a friend of mine who, I don't want to say their name because they actually are known by people in this channel, when that friend of mine sent me their message, their final message, I did everything in my power to save their life. And they are still around. And I do not know if that was the correct decision, but it's the call that I made.
Yeah. Well, and this is actually something that is very close to me, because I know my partner, it shares the same thing where like it's a bodily autonomy issue where it's no one else's choices but the person who is making the choice. I also know that she struggles with like she has depression, and it is treatable. Like she's on medication for it. She's in therapy, and she's also a therapist, so she knows the strategies. But like, I like it's a fear of mine that like in the future at some point, that is a decision that she might make, and as her partner, like that's one of those things where like I can say like, well, I don't want you to go because I want you to be around, but that's kind of selfish on my part. And I don't know. I just hope that this is not something I ever have to deal with. Anyway, I have to put on a silly hat now, so let's stop talking about the super serious issue. Nancy Mace, the cosplayer of the United States, cosplayer in chief, thinks that DC wants more crime.
I don't think anybody in DC says that.
No, but that's what they say that they're saying. Maybe if the people that are living in DC are like against you taking over DC, maybe it's not as bad as you're saying it is. Like if the people that actually live there are like, hey, it's actually not that bad, maybe you should listen to the people that actually live there. Oh, is it the puppy shooter that's the cosplayer in chief? I get them confused. Which one's Nancy Mace then if she's not the one that cosplays everywhere? Is she not the one that like wears ice vests all over the place?
Christy Gnome wears ice vest all over the place.
Okay, so what's Nancy Mace do then?
She's in the government. Fuck all nothing.
Okay.
That's my guess, anyway.
Okay, here we go. This is the one that I was talking about earlier. The Restored Life says, have you ever met a socialist, communist, fascist, or anyone from the Marxist tree? Okay, if you're putting fascist in the Marxist tree, then you don't know what Marxism is.
You don't.
But have you ever met any of those that wasn't a sociopath? Mace is the huge transphobe. Yeah, okay, they all are though. So, but yeah, anyway, we've been spending so much time trying to figure out ways, like we've been having empathetic conversations this entire time, talking about how to care for people, how to make it better for them, how to make their lives better, how to improve their lives, because we care about these people that we have never met before. Now, I know that there are sociopaths in my audience that watch my channel. Because anytime it comes up, they chime in. We're like, hey, I have antisocial personality disorder. And then they'll have, they'll comment on my video or something that is, it's usually with regards to the moral argument. And how I don't really understand the morality, but I do understand it from a practical standpoint that this is what I need to do if I want to enjoy my life. So there are people with antisocial personality disorder in my audience, so I don't want to shit on sociopaths, be like, oh, fuck them. But the left is the side that has empathy for people and wants to care for people and says, hey, even though I disagree, that person that we talked about, I forget who the fuck it even was. Oh yeah, the burger joint person. I disagree with you politically. I think you're a terrible person. You also shouldn't be deported and should get free healthcare.
Free healthcare? No, communism.
Is that a lack of empathy? Lack of empathy is what characterizes sociopathy or antisocial personality disorder. It's kind of the umbrella term for both sociopathy and
well, it's because sociopathy and psychopathy aren't used in the DSM. ASPD is.
ASPD. Is lack of empathy is the primary characteristic there. Is it the left that lacks empathy or the right? Because from what I've seen, the left are the ones that are saying, hey, we need to take care of these people. We need to give these people health care. We need to stop throwing people in camps because they come from a different place. We need to give homes to the homeless. We need to give vaccines to people.
He said vaccines. No, bad, wrong. No. Vaccines give autism.
It's the right that is all fuck you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That is just a complete lack of empathy. Now, I used to be on the right, as did you. So I'm sure we can both agree that there are people on the right that sincerely believe that right-wing policies will, if enacted properly, actually be better for everybody.
Well, because they generally believe that the biggest problem that most people face is that they do not know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah,
And
it's
if
a lack
more
of gumption.
and if more people took care of themselves, then most of their problems would go out of the way. Like, for instance, depression. You wouldn't be as depressed if you were working. From a practical standpoint, you would be doing something with your hands, doing something with your mind, and you would be able to afford things that are likely comorbidities with your depression. That's more of a conservative stance on that. But the problem is when you're conservative, you lean into that. You do not let it be a part of your argument.
Nancy Mace is the person who got injured by a handshake. That's who Nancy Mace was.
What a fucking pussy.
Well, no, she faked it for the sake of a lawsuit, and then they looked at the video and were like, no, you're clearly faking.
Jet Boutique says they also call empathy a sin, though. So, okay, so, yes, there are some conservatives that have done the sin of empathy thing on the internet. But
that's not the norm.
That's not the norm. I'm thinking
back to when I was a libertarian. I sincerely believed that the libertarian way would actually help more people.
And then you played BioShock.
I did not have a different amount of empathy when I was a libertarian than I do now. I don't believe that being on the right automatically makes you less empathetic. I am just saying that policy-wise, the left clearly wins the empathy war because they are the ones that are like, hey, we want to actually take care of people. Whereas the right is like, no, teach him to lift himself up by the bootstraps. That'll take care of him.
If you want a true statement that is leaned into too hard, as an example of what I was describing earlier, that supports exactly what Rhino was saying, it is the statement, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for his lifetime. So, that is a statement that both the left and the right can both agree on. We can. Mm-hmm. But the right-winger will look at that statement and lean into it such that a hungry man who has no energy to fish isn't even given the first fish so that they have the energy to fish for the rest.
See, I was gonna take it another step further and be like, oh, well, yeah, you teach him how to fish, but he doesn't have access to a fishing rod or a pond with fish in it.
Yeah, there's always some... So, like, there's a prerequisite to being able to fish. Otaku Senpai, thank you very much for the follow. There's always a prerequisite to being able to fish. The prerequisites are having a rod, having a pond or a lake or a stream, whatever.
I'll show you the rod that I have.
It being legal for you to do so, the fish in the pond being big enough for consumption, because you can find like a freshwater lake where everything's a fucking minnow.
Yeah, and being not contaminated.
Or contaminated, and obviously, yes, having the energy to do so. The reason I went with the energy is that's the one that's directly part of the saying. Giving the man a fish as opposed to. On the left...
Yeah, you give him the fish so that he has the energy to fish and then teach him how to fish.
On the left, there are people who will lean too far into the statement of give a man a fish instead of teaching him how to fish. Now, it's not very often. You usually find it in weird online spaces more than anything. But generally speaking...
There is an episode of this show where I talk about how the Timberborn method of setting up your society works best. So, like, give everybody all the resources they need, and then they'll all just be happy all day.
So, with conservatives, they will lean very, very heavy into the, well, why would we give them a fish when we could teach them how to fish? Ignoring every other environmental factor. Whereas...
And then they refuse to teach them how to fish anyway.
And then that one as well. On the left, you generally have an attempt to give the fish. Now, in both cases, both sides believe they are doing the empathetic thing and believe that the other side is doing the wrong thing. This is not a both sides problem, though, because generally on the left, you find people who are willing to both give the thing that will allow somebody to fish and also teach them how to fish. Usually. Yeah, don't offer free cookies for life to a diabetic.
Yeah, my partner also has diabetes, and she had to tell me to stop buying her donuts today.
But you wanted to make her butt bigger. Or she wanted to make her butt bigger.
No, she wants to make her butt bigger. I just want to make her happy, and I know she likes donuts.
Fair enough.
But she actually told me she's going to give me diabetes. She told me to eat her donut for her because otherwise she would eat it. And
that's another aspect, Hellbound, that largely gets ignored by right-wingers. They will lean on the statement as heavy as they can, such that things like, if you are the one who has fished in excess, they will not give any fish to the guy who has learned how to fish and then the fish aren't biting for him.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do that either.
Yeah, the billionaires have overfished the pond and now there's not much left for the rest of us.
Correct. They're
like, well, fish better then.
It is leaning on the statement as hard as you can, ignoring environmental factors.
Keep in mind, this is also this is benefit of the doubting it quite a bit. So like when I'm talking about this, I am talking about the rank and file conservatives who are on the ground voting right wing against their best interests, not knowing that they're against their best interests. They honestly, like, they are empathetic people who believe they are doing the right thing. The people that are actually in power, for the most part, I don't think fall into that category.
The people in power are assholes who would be better off dead.
Yeah, like, I am under no illusion that the billionaires of the world are actually empathetic human beings, because you don't get to be a billionaire while being an empathetic human being who wants to make the world a better place. It's like, if you actually wanted to make the world a better place, you would be giving away your resources to, like, you have access to more wealth than you could possibly spend in your entire lifetime, even if you were spending as much of it as you could every single day, and you made that your only thing is to spend all your money as quickly as possible. You still would not succeed in spending all that money. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you still have it instead of just giving large chunks of it away says to me that you lack that empathy.
This is not a toot my own horn thing, but I am in a privileged position where buying Magic the Gathering cards is a thing that I can write off on my taxes. So, when I'm at the card shop and people need help with decks, most of the time, I will just take cards out of my collection and hand them to the person who needs them for their deck. And that's
I have a whole ass deck that you just handed to me.
You've watched me do this, but you're not unique in how many people I have done that to and for. Because for me, these are a thing that I get to have in excess because of my job.
Oh, you handed me a pre-done deck, and then you went through it yourself and made it better with other cards that you had and I did not.
Well, it's because you needed Scoot Swarm.
I do love me a good Scoot Swarm.
And Wizards printed a new Scoot Swarm recently that is green and black that doubles when you sacrifice lands, called it's Scoot Scourer. And it is a swarm of locusts, and it is great.
Okay.
It's about decaying the land.
I will have to look into that.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it. Just a little bit.